Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Cardano Podcast. I'm Ryan Morrison, your host. And today I'll show you an interview I did with Maarten from the project Fiat to ADA stake machine. We talked about it. It's basically, as the name says, a machine where you can deposit Fiat and you can get ADA and stake it as well. Of course, it's a project still, but I sat down with him and we went into the details. Of course, you can see much more on the proposal itself. But before we start with that, please remember that if you want to support this Cardano podcast, please go to our proposal on Catalyst. It's called Cardano Podcast Interviews with Teams. You can just check it in the campaign in Fund 4. In the campaign Catalyst Value Onboarding, and you can read all the specifics on what do we want to achieve for the coming months as well, so we can bring you more of these interviews with the teams behind the projects on Catalyst. And before we start, also then I also want to share with you that we started just with our own staking pool called the Quant Pool. So if you want to stake your ADA somewhere and you're looking for, you can just go to look for the ticker Quant, QUANT, and then that's also another way to support this podcast. Great. Without further ado, then let's just jump into the interview I did with Maarten. Hi everyone, and as promised, I'm here with Maarten. Hi, Maarten. Welcome to the Cardano Podcast. Nice to have you, and thanks for taking the time to discuss with the community about your project on Catalyst.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Sure. I thought before we start, maybe if you can give us a quick intro of yourself, and then we jump into the project itself afterwards.
Yeah, that's good. I'm an industrial designer, and I have my own company doing design work since 2013 called M2 Tech, which you see the logo here behind me a little bit. An industrial designer creates consumer-focused products for mass production. So that is just mostly physical products, but I'm always very interested in innovation and also following Cardano, which is a very interesting project.
Yeah.
So that is why I was very interested in Catalyst as well.
And did you hear it about it, and then you thought it's a good way to fund the project?
Well, it's very interesting the way this could be beneficial to a lot of people. Yeah. And I have worked a lot with like I can show you. This is like hoppers.
Yeah.
This is where you put your coins in, and it pays out the coins. This is like a prototype.
Oh, cool.
So I've done a lot of work on a system called SPS 700, and this is like a point of sale system.
Okay.
So that is the traditional way of handling money. So I think that is very interesting to be able to maybe bridge the gap between the old way of doing things and the new way of doing things.
Yeah.
So
with the new
that is where my experience is, and I thought, hey, maybe I can help with that. So that is Perfect. Very interesting.
Makes sense. So for people that are listening to the podcast on different podcast platforms, you can go also to cardano.ideaskill and look there for the project. Project is called Fiat to ADA stake machine, and you can find more about it there. For people that are looking at this on YouTube, I'll leave a description here, a link in the description where you can go directly. So now that I mentioned the project, maybe we can talk more in depth about it. So it's called Fiat to ADA stake machine. And maybe you can tell us what the problem that you saw and then how this solves that.
Well, as I mentioned before, I have a lot of experience with the old way of handling money.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw also that Cardano was interesting in helping banking the unbanked. So I thought, well, that is interesting, but also 50% of the world's population doesn't have smartphone. So that is what I first tried to look at that, and how would you do that? So that is what is, as an industrial designer, you look at what is the problem there. So if you want to help these people, they don't have a smartphone, which is the main way of interacting with a blockchain. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have electricity or a smartphone, you cannot really bridge that gap.
Yeah.
So it's important to know how long, how quick this progress will go, and if you need something to bridge this gap. So that was my idea, that maybe this is something where I can help people to stake their money, so they have like an interest in money, so they can save.
And maybe it's also for people to get an idea of how it would work. And maybe you can tell us how do you envision the process would be for somebody to use the machine, the staking machine.
So it's a point of sale system is where I have my experience. So this machine would be in a shop, and the owner would have a share of the stake, for example. So a customer walks in and he deposits his money, and then or there's buttons on the machine. There's touchscreen there, so you can press on deposit and he can enter his money, and then it would automatically go into a stake pool.
Okay.
And that way you can both the shop owner and the customer can share in the profit of it, of storing his money somewhere in a safe place. So the shop owner would have a part in transferring the fiat currency into ADA.
Got it.
And this could be then not always online. So
yeah, so he could get the fiat and then later on transfer it. It doesn't have to have internet at that particular location.
Yeah. So only need electricity at the shop. And only for a limited time internet connection.
Got it.
That would be the idea.
To do that specific connection for to do the interaction between to get the ADA. I mean.
Yeah. And the customer would receive like a printed ticket of like a QR code or a code to ADA wallet. And that way he can always get his money back. Yeah. But this way he doesn't have to go to the same shop. So he can always travel somewhere else in the world. And with that same QR code, he could just go to a website if he's just in a country where they don't have internet issues or they have wide availability. And then you could get your money back there. So you wouldn't be tied to the shop owner.
Perfect. That would be. It's interesting that when you mentioned the example of printing a QR code, because that's also how at the beginning of Cardano, I remember there were people that invested in before or when the project just started, and they got also a certificate in the form of a QR code that they later on, when by then the Daedalus wallet didn't even exist. But when at the moment it started, Daedalus, then that would give you also the option to show that QR code or to put that certificate that you had on paper. So that could be also a way to see it as well, that from the beginning of the project, people are also used, or at least then they were also used to having a QR code in a piece of paper and then translating that into ADA directly in your Daedalus.
Yeah, you see that a lot with cryptocurrency.
Yeah. And how has been so far the feedback from the community? Have you get any comments or feedback within?
I got a comment about how my system would operate, so I could explain a little more. And it's basically what I've just told you. In essence, it's more or less similar. And of course, I'm in the Netherlands, so to make further steps, but this is just an initial idea I posted. To make further steps, you need to make a connection with your target audience, which is not the Netherlands, because we have almost no paper money here anyway. It's
true.
A bit strange.
For people that don't know, we're both in the Netherlands. Here it's just
it's extreme in the Netherlands, I think.
It is quite extreme
compared to other countries.
Yeah, also compared to Germany, even like next to us, it's just much more paper driven.
I have the SPS 700. I don't know if you can show something from YouTube on your channel, but if that's possible, you can browse to it. Like if you browse for Cache Complete SPS 700, you get YouTube from Google.
Oh, I'm gonna check it. Maybe I can also put it in the description, and the links, so people can also.
Okay,
watch it
that's
there.
also possible.
Yeah. Interesting, and cool. And then for everybody that is listening to this, it's in Fund 4. So in Fund 4, within the campaign dApps and integrations, that you can just look for Fiat to add a stake machine, and then you'll be able to find it. And please also leave feedback. Also, it's interesting for Maarten to know. We also put a proposal with a Cardano podcast in Idea Skill, and I find it very interesting to see all the feedback, what people say, good or bad, but at least always with an argument. That I find that interesting.
Yeah. I still need to make some time to look at some other projects and get involved there, because that is also interesting to look at.
Yeah, and now that we were talking about that, probably when this interview is aired and when it's live, you'll be able already to vote for Fund 3 on your Catalyst app, for everybody that is listening to the podcast.
That's today. That's true.
Yeah, that's happening today. We're doing this on the 5th.
I'm already signed in for it.
Me too. So I'm waiting anxiously before when it happens. So when you see this podcast, it will be probably already live, the voting. So hopefully you can go and then check. And that would be we're talking about now for Fund 3, but the voting now will be for Fund 3. So we're now in Fund 4 at the beginning of the process, or we're in the refine stage. So when you look at this, you'll be able to vote, but you'll be voting on the Fund 3. All right, I think that we discussed it in detail. I don't know if there's anything else that Maarten, that you would like to ask for the community.
I looked at your company, and you make some interesting software also for Cardano, probably.
Yeah.
So this is not my expertise. I'm making hardware, so it would be interesting to get your opinion on implementing it, because there's something like probably a Raspberry Pi inside. And, is that something that is easily done with Cardano?
Yeah, that's a good point. Now that you bring it up, for people that don't know about the company, I run Quant Digital, and then we do work related to building on top of Cardano. So smart contracts, when they happen, we're now doing all in the testnet, of course, because we're waiting for Goguen to be released. But also we see now a lot of interest also from now with that Mary fork just happened. We see also a lot of interest of we got on our website on quantdigital.net if you want to check. A lot of people asking also for minting tokens now that it's possible to mint native tokens in the Cardano blockchain.
Command line
Yeah.
at the moment.
So a lot of interest for NFTs also in the community. But yeah, the great thing is just now it's just the beginning, and as I was just mentioning, we don't even have smart contracts live yet. So then that's also coming, and then there's so much more that we'll be able to do with that.
Yeah, I was thinking about my machine that it could also print like a NFT, like together with the QR code. Would be very
that would be great. So you can tokenize
Yeah, because you lose with paper money. It's always the former currency in the Netherlands was also always done by good designers and very well-known people. And I always liked the way the money looks. So it would be a shame if it would be just a boring QR code. That would be just an extra, but that would be very interesting.
That would be a different feature. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So,
cool.
Just extra.
Yeah, exactly. Nice to have. Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Maarten, for your time. Again, you guys that are listening to the podcast, if you want to learn more about the project, you can go and check it out in Project Catalyst on Idea Scale. Do you have a website as well, Maarten? Or how can people contact you or learn more about it?
My website is www.m2tech. Like
M2.nl, right?
.nl. Yeah.
Perfect. You'll find it also here. I'll put it in the description of the videos on YouTube. And for the listeners, you can go directly to the m2tec.nl. All right. Thank you very much, Maarten, and thank you all. We'll be soon with new interviews with other teams as well from that we'll be discussing their proposals on Project Catalyst. So see you in the next episode. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.